I'm not going to be repeating. The screen is, you must be able to follow. I hope I'm not attacking anyone because this thing is very easy. I'm not going to be on one point that is easy for 1 hour. I'm making my directions very easy and very, very easy for everyone. So please follow. So, like I've said, the first step is go to your royal queue. I hope I'm not attacking anyone because this thing is very. Okay, so I've said go to your royal queue. Your royal queue. You tap on mine. You tap on my strategy setting. You go to your royal queue, you tap on mine, you tap on my strategy setting. If you are new, you'll see the word add it now. If you are old, you'll see a plus sign in your top right corner. Are we together? Now let's understand what parameter means. When you open at your settings, you'll see the word risk type. When you open your robot, you'll see the word risk type. It is the first one in the corner. What does this mean? You'll see it has steady, it has conservative, and it has radical. Now these settings were brought in by Royal Q, but now it means you are going to use the default settings of Royal Q. But since we are going to put in our own settings, these ones are not needed. Whether you leave your risk type on steady or conservative or radical, they are not needed because we are going to put in our own settings. Now let's go to the next button. The next button is a word called remark. Remark. What does remark mean? Remark means you want to give your strategy a name. You can name it Peter, you can name it Namkwaya, anything, or you can name it the strategy. Okay. Usually I say this strategy is highly risky. It exposes a lot of your capital. So it is a high risk strategy. It's a high risk strategy. So remark means you can name your strategy any name. Next is a word written very clear called the first buy amount. It is first buying amount. Now, what is first buying amount? You have $200. You have $500. You have $1,000. You have $2,000. You have $3,000. You have $4,000. You have $5,000. You have $10,000. Together. So on this, as Coach Ma, I think, is now on this, decide how much do you want to expose on this coin. Let me say I have $1,000. I usually say as a trader, this is what I believe in. There's what we call Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance. I must use this as a trader. What is Bitcoin dominance? It's the performance of Bitcoin on a given day. Today, the price in the market, in most cases, is determined by the dominance of Bitcoin. I may not go into details about this today. But usually I say, if I trade coin A today, and it does not sell. And it does not sell. I will not stay in this trade. The next day, as I will be waiting for this trade, I will trade coin B the next day. So if I have my $1,000, I will say with this strategy, I will divide my capital into two and expose $500 per coin. I leave my $500 unused for the next day. If at all this coin does not sell today, if you have understood that, give me one.
Yes, my money. Okay, so we can talk. Yeah, I was calling. Yeah, I saw that. Then I said that maybe you are busy. Mm.
Sorry for that. Sorry. But if you have been following a little bit, let me know. Give me one in the chat if you have been following, especially that last topic we talked about, division of your capital using the Bitcoin dominance. If you have understood that, give me at least a 2 in the chat. Let me see. Sorry, give me a 2, not a 1. If you have understood trading using the Bitcoin dominance philosophy. So before you apply the strategy, you need to have that in mind. You don't fight your capital. You say, this coin, I will trade it with this capital. This coin, I will trade it with this capital. Having that in your mind, you're now going to decide what is going to be your first buying amount, depending on the capital that you have. Give me a yes in the chat if you have understood that. But I don't know how I'm going to manage. Give me a yes in the chat if you have understood that. Okay. I don't know how I'm going. So now, since we know how much we are going to expose depending on your capital. So usually people ask me, give me settings for this capital, and I usually fail. So if you have $500, and you have decided to divide your capital, let me say, into two, it means that the amount of money you are going to expose to this coin is 250. Even if you are using other strategies, and for you say you have $500, you divide it into three. You're going to use, let me say, around $135. This is the money you are going to expose on one coin. This is the bull run strategy. The bull run strategy, we divide our capital into 3. This one, we divide our capital into 2. They start small, win big. For it, you just go straight 15%, the rest are margin calls. So choose where you belong. So now, I now know that with my $1,000, I divide it into 2, and I now have $500 that I want to use for this. Is that clear? Let me know in the chat. Is that clear? Let me know in the chat. Is that clear? Let me know in the chat. You know how much you are going to expose. That is the thing about it. You know how much you want to expose. Now, having known how much you want to expose, the robot is asking you, on your $500, babe, let's come. On your $500, I'm usually very grateful because the business affects the family. So you know it's not easy. You need to certain responsibilities, but you have a business. I really grateful to my lovely wife for always being very understanding, because sometimes it's not easy. Okay, so now the next point on your robot is saying first buy amount. So it is asking you on your $1,000, how much of this do you want your robot to start with? Do you want your robot to go in with all your $1,000? As a good trader, when you are giving instructions to your robot, we give 2 instructions. From the price you have entered, what should the robot do when the market goes up, let me say by 1.5, take profit by 2%, by 3%? And what should the robot do when the market goes against you? Those are the 2 settings we provide. So how much of this should the robot start with? I usually say the best strategy is always the maximum of 15% of your capital. So if my capital is $1,000, so I have a question. If I only have $1,000, if this is the only money I have, can I look at exposing all my $1,000 in this one coin? I need some answers in the chat. All I have is $1,000. Can I look at exposing all my $1,000 in this one coin? Let me know in the chat. Because unless someone, so it means that at least I need to have how much? At least I need to have how much? Some answers in the chat. At least I need to have how much? This is just logic. At least I need to have how much? Let me know. If I want to expose $1,000, at least I need to have how much? At least I need to have how much? Thank you, $2,000. What is the use of the other 1,000? Now, what if I'm trading? What if I'm trading and they send other signals? Will I pick them? What if I'm trading and they send other signals? Will I pick them? Thank you. The answer is no. That's where now people, big time. Someone has their $2,000. He trades signal 1. They send signal 2. They send signal 3. So someone who has a line of coins, good traders are good wallet managers. Am I making sense to someone? A good trader is a good wallet manager. How many of you have experienced in the business? You trade today, Bitcoin is very good, the next it's very bad. And you remain floating for a very long time. How many of you have experienced that? Today, Bitcoin is very good, you are happy. By the time you wake up in the morning, Bitcoin is very bad, and all your capital gets stuck. It gets back to wallet management. But I have a question. If Bitcoin is good today, and then tomorrow is very bad, and you manage your wallet, will you continue to make profit? Give me some answers in the chat. Will you continue to make profit? Will you continue to make profit? You will continue to make profit because you are managing your wallet. You are managing your wallet. Okay? So now, let's get into this. Now I will say $1,000 times 15%. I'll get $150. So $150 is my first buying amount. If you have understood how I have landed, if you have understood how I have landed on $150, give me a yes in the chat. If you have understood how I have landed on $150, give me a yes in the chat. So this strategy does not look at only $1,000. Yes, I can say 15% of my $200. And I'll get $30 to be my first buying amount. I can say 15% of my 15% of my $500. 5 times 5 is 25. I carry to 5 times 1, 5, 75. This will be my first buying amount. People who are using RSI, people who are using MACD, this strategy is so good to help you make a lot of money. If I'm clear, give me a 1 in the chat. If you have understood how you land on your first buying amount, 15% of your capital. If you have understood, let me know. Because, you know, these things, I try to make sure I keep them very simple. Now, when you open your Royal Queue, after the first buying amount, when you open your Royal Queue after the first buying amount, the next parameter is called open position double. Open position double. Now, what does this mean? If you switch this button to be on, it means that instead of your robot putting in, let me say, $30, it will multiply by 2. It will put in 60. So I have a question. According to what we have learned, do you need to switch this on? Some answers in the chat. Do we need to switch this on? Some answers in the chat. According to what we have learned. You see, me, I want understanding. Me, I don't want. I want when you go to your robot, you know what you are supposed to do. I'm not here to teach you, give me this strategy, give me, I don't have, I'm teaching so that you understand. Next, on your Royal Queue is something that we call AI margin call. AI margin call. This is a common question. AI margin call. What does this mean? Now, before I go to AI margin call, what does the word margin call mean? This takes us to three terminologies. It takes us to what we call margin call limit. Margin call limit. So, margin call limit are the number of times you want your robot to go in the market. That I want my robot to go in the market 50 times. I want my robot to go in the market 100 times. I want the robot to go in the market 999 times. This is the maximum. I want my robot to go in the market 5 times. I want my robot to go in the market 2 times. From where I have entered, if the market goes against me, the number of times I want my robot to go in the market is what we call margin call limit. Now, just understand this. The RoyalQ robot is this kind of a robot. It has 2 robots, but I'll focus on Martingale for today because it's the common one we use, and I'll explain why. We don't use grid Martingale robot. What is a Martingale robot? A Martingale robot is the power of the robot buying at different prices. And selling at once. So, when it buys the first buying amount, then the market drops, it buys the first call, it buys the second call, some people call them layers, it buys the third call, and it buys the fourth call. If it had put in, let me say $30 here, and it has put in, let me say $60 here, and the market rises, by your whole position take profit, it will sell all this together at once. If it dropped and it bought more here, let me say 90. If it dropped and bought more here, let me make this 120. It dropped and bought more here, 240. It dropped and bought more here, 480. It will now sell all this, whatever it bought at once. And that is what we call martingale. Buying at different prices and selling at once. So if it so happens and it bought here only, if it so happened and it only bought this, if so happened and it only bought this, it will give you profit of only the first buying amount if the market did not drop. If it so happened and it bought this, and this, it will give you profit of that. If so happens and the market dropped and it bought this, then the market rose by the take profit, it gives you the whole profit of these 3. If it so happened and the market bought this, it will give you profit the whole of this. It so happens and the market dropped to the 4th call, it will give you profit of all this. So the whole position take profit works from call 1 to call number 4, or layer 1 to layer number 4. And this is what we call a martingale robot. Give me a 2 in the chat if you have understood that before I continue. Give me a 2 in the chat If you have understood that before I continue. Me, I just want you to understand your robot so that you can use it when you understand it. Now, but understand at the same time that this only works. Someone says not clear. Raise up your hand. Let me allow you to unmute. What is not clear? Because I'm making things I saw you saying. Unmute. What is not clear, Bridget? What is not clear? Bridget, can you unmute yourself? What is not clear? I'm sending you an ask to unmute. You don't need to switch on your camera. You just need to tell me what's not clear. Now you see, friends, when you say it's not clear, and you don't tell me where it is not clear. The RSI. Now, have I talked about RSI, KDJ, and MACD here? Let me know. Have I talked about RSI, KDJ, and MACD here? Anna. This teaching is not easy. Teaching it's not easy. Now, why are you confusing yourself? You have not talked about. So for you, you came with the KDJ RSI on your mind, and it is ringing like a bell. This world has no balance. This world has no balance. You said the strategy will help you. Those who understand, if you don't understand, just ignore. So let's move on. Let's just move on because certain things I may not manage. Don't want to like. Let's continue. I may not manage. Okay. So the robot. We have understood first buying amount. We have understood open double position. We are not yet clear about the AI. It's what I was explaining. And we say the AI margin call takes us to what we call the margin call limit. And we said that when you have entered from here, how many times should the robot buy when the market goes against you is what we call margin call limit. And you can set from 1 to 999. But from 1 to 4, whatever the robot buys, it sells it at once. It means that if the robot from your first call to your fourth call, the amount of money it has put is the take profit that you see on the word next there called whole position take profit. Because after margin call limit, the next word is whole position take profit. So the word whole position take profit that you put, let me say 1.5, it will work from whatever the robot has bought from the first call to the fourth call, all grouped together. or you have put 3% all grouped together. Whatever the robot will buy, it will be a take profit. It will be a take profit from the first call to the fourth call all grouped together. If this is NP, if after setting up your robot, your strategy mode is in sub-bin mode. I'll explain this later. Sub-bin mode or sub-bin mode real-time settlement. Or sub-bin mode real-time settlement. I'll explain this later. So when you set your robot, someone is unmuting. I don't know how. I forgot to mute everyone. Just a minute. When people come here and they unmute themselves. So if you set your robot and you switch your strategy from the you switch your strategy either to sub-bin mode or sub-bin mode real-time settlement, you have instructed your robot that whatever you buy from the first call to the fourth call, let the take profit be 3% from the first call to the fourth call. But the rest of the calls from the fifth to 999 margin calls, let each be independent. And you say you are telling the robot, I'll give the take profit of each from the fifth call to 999 calls. But for these first 4, let their take profit be either 1.5 or 3%. If your strategy mode is in sub-bin mode or sub-bin mode real-time settlement. But if you leave your strategy mode in whole warehouse, even if your robot buys 50 times, the take profit will be this one, 1.5 or 3%. If you have understood this, give me a yes in the chat. If you have understood this, give me a yes in the chat. If you have understood this, give me a yes in the chat. Now, having explained that, we now know so all position take profit. Let me make it here. What does it mean? If you decide to put here, let me say 1.3, or you put here 1.5 or 3%, what does it mean? Because below it, we have a word called all position take profit callback. All position take profit callback. What does this mean? This means you entered your robot, you entered from here, let me say the market fell, it bought, it fell, it bought, it fell, it bought. Let me say this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from here, the market rose by the take profit. And your take profit is, let me say, 1.5. This is what this means. But the robot will not take profit unless there is a callback. And a callback is a fall down in the market. So your coin rises by 1.5, but you are saying, when it falls down by how much? Sometimes we put a 0.1, especially where we are right now. Why? Why don't we put a 0.01? It means that when I put a 0.01, I mean that when the market rises by 3% and falls down by 0.01, let my robot say sell. The reason why we go in for a 0.1 is because we are saying when the market rises by 3% and it falls down by 0.1, let my robot sell. So it means I'll get something like 2.9. I'll not get 3%. But the beauty of this is if the coin is pumping, it can fall, let me say, by 0.0001, and it does not reach 0.1. And instead of this robot giving me 3%, if this coin goes up by 15%, and then it falls by 0.1, instead of my robot giving me 3%, it will give me 15%. This can happen whether your take profit is 1.5, whether your take profit is 2%, if there is high momentum in that particular coin. If you have understood whole position take profit and whole position take profit callback, give me a 2 in the chat. If you have understood whole position take profit and whole position take profit callback, give me a 2 in the chat. We move. That's why instead of us using 0.01, we use something a little bit not high and a little bit not low, which is a 0.1. So that if this coin is going to be a good coin, maybe, because we don't know, we don't lose so much, but if it is a good coin, we gain more than we have set. So you can set 1.5 and the robot gives you 5%. You can set 1.5 and the robot gives you 7%, even 20, even 10, depending on the market. We do not control that. Now, we now know what whole position take profit callback is. Now, the next one, we have 3 things that are common here. AI margin call, margin call limit, margin call configuration, margin configuration. And then the next one, I think, is buying callback. These are related. I'm going to explain one per one. This one I said I'm going to explain. Now, margin call limit, these are times you have put a 5, another one puts a 10, another one puts a 20, a 50, like that. Configuration, I decided to put 10 margin calls, or I decided to put 7, or I decided to put 8. How should my robot buy these 7? How should my robot buy this 20? How should my robot buy this 50? How should my robot buy this 100? Is what we call a margin configuration. To configure how is what we call margin configuration. Margin configuration. Now this one has 2 areas. This one has 2 areas. It has an area we call margin call drop. Then it has an area we call multiple buy-in ratio. Multiple buy-in ratio. So what does this mean? I have entered from here. I have entered from here. How deep do I want my robot to buy is margin call drop. I want my robot to buy 50% deep. I want my robot to buy 60% deep. I want my robot to buy 100% deep. I want my robot to buy. So this one. Remember on the margin called on the margin limit, you said my margins are 100. So you want your robot to buy 100% or 50 or 80, depending on the margins you created. Then multiple buy-in ratio, it is the amount of money depending on your first buy-in amount that you put. For example, if my first buy-in amount is 100, how many times do I want my robot, let me say, to put in money? So when you say, I want my robot the first time, let me say the market drops by 1, to put in 2. It means when the market will drop by 1%, your robot will put in $200. On the second call, when the market drops, let me say by 3, for you say you want your robot to put in 4, it will be 4 times 100, which is 400. On the third call, if the robot, let me say, drops by 5, you want your robot to buy in, let me say, 8. It means 8 times 100, which is 800. On your fourth call, you say, I want when my robot drops 10%. It is, and you want your robot to buy 16 times. It means it is 16 times 100, which is $1,600. This is money. You must have this money in your account. But allow me to teach this. The reason why we make these first 4 drops very small, sometimes you see we say 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, let me say 0.5. The reason why some people make this very small, because whatever is bought here is sold at once. These multiple, these drops. If you have understood this, give me a 1 in the chat. Because whatever is bought here is sold at once. So you want your robot to buy these ones very fast. Because whatever is bought here is sold at once. Am I making sense to someone this morning? Am I making sense? Let me know. Am I making sense to someone this morning? Because when you understand your robot, you set it according to your preference. Because whatever it buys, it sells it at once. So I want my robot to buy very fast these times because it will sell them at once. If I put a bigger drop on these first 4, I put a 5 here, I put a 10 here, I put a 20 here, I put a 30 here. When the robot, for the market to drop 30%, it may take long. When the robot drops 20%, it will take long. It means it will delay to buy for me more, yet whatever it buys on these first 4, it will sell at once. Give me a 1 in the chat if you have understood. That's why we set sometimes these ones to be very small. We want the robot to buy them very fast because it will sell them at once. It's like when we talk about the word hollow, whole warehouse, a wholesale. You buy at different prices, but you sell in a wholesale. Am I making sense? Give me a 2 if you are understanding. You are a wholesaler. You buy commodities at a different price, but you sell them at once. You sell in a wholesale. That's what your robot does in the first 4 calls. So it sells in the wholesale. It buys at different prices, but it sells in the wholesale. So you want your robot to buy the first 4 faster, so that if at all the market bounces in positive, it sells them in a wholesale. I hope I'm clear. Now, listen to me very closely. From the 5th call to 999, 99th call, each call is independent. Each call is independent. And that's why when you go back to your royal queue, there is an area on your royal queue called distributed and take profit allocation. Let me give an example. This is your warehouse, and you sell biscuits. But for you, you buy at different prices, the same commodity from different distributors, and you sell at a given price. Let me say 1,000. You are a wholesaler, you are getting prices. You are getting prices from different companies. This company is called the Opeto. This one, Opeto Biscuit Makers. This one company is called the Nalufenya. Nalufenya Biscuit Distributors. This other company is called the Kakubojja Biscuit Distributors. So you are getting biscuits from this company. You are getting biscuits from this company. You are getting biscuits on this company, but you are buying at different prices. So you say, I bought 500 from this one. I bought 450 from this one. I bought 300 from this one. You add 5, 9, 10, 12. Is it like that? 12. This is a 5. And then you divide by 3. What you get is your average selling price. That's what your robot does. So it gets the average of the different prices it has bought. And when the market rises above the average, it sells and gives you profit. If you have understood this example, give me a yes. But you still say, I will not sell these biscuits alone. I will open up distribution centers. And these distribution centers, they have their different selling prices. So from the 5th call, these are different shops that you have that still sell your biscuits. And you can open up to 9,999 shops that are picking biscuits from your shop, buying them also, but selling at different prices. Give me a yes in the chat if you have understood. If you have not, I will not die with you. Give me a 2 if you have understood. If you have not, I will not die with you. Don't worry. That is your robot. It buys biscuits for you at different prices, find an average. If the market rises, it sells the first 4. But still you say, what if some customers do not come here at my warehouse? What do? You open up distribution centers. So the more distribution centers you open, the more chances of you making more profit. Give me a 3 in the chat if you have understood. Give me a 3 in the chat if you have understood. So if you have bigger capital, you open many distribution centers. If you have less capital, you open less distribution centers. The challenge with people, they only understand having a shop. The day I discovered this phenomenon, I do not struggle with Royal Q. I don't have any local business. Why? Because as people find money to rent, I only find capital and open so many shops in this world as possible. Am I making sense to someone? Am I making sense to someone? I don't need it to. I am opening shops. I keep opening as many shops as possible across this coin that I'm trading. So the more it drops, the more shops it opens for me. The more it drops, the more shops it opens for me. Now I have a question. You need to know that the robot can buy and sell from these other shops, 5th and below, before it sells these first 4. People have been asking me, why am I in floating loss but still making profit? The market has not risen to your average price that it bought these 4, but it has risen to the average price that it bought each independently. Give me a 2 in the chat if I'm clear. From the physical going down, the robot can buy and sell 1 million times. The robot can buy and sell 1 million times before it sells the 4 it bought at first. That's why we say you can be in floating loss, but making money. Because the market has not risen back to the average price of the first 4 it bought, but it is rising and falling from the physical going down. Am I clear? So that's why you have a distributed take profit allocation. From the physical, the robot is telling you. From the physical, the robot is telling you, how much do you want to take on each call? Then you say, I want 1.3. Then some of you say you want 2. I don't have 6. I want 1.3. I want 7. I want 1.3. 8. I want 1.3. So I want my robot to keep on buying these ones and selling them depending on my capital. And this can only happen when you switch the modes, the strategy mode. The strategy mode. So the strategy mode, if you decide to be in the whole warehouse, even if it will buy 50 times, if the market does not rise above the average, the robot will not. If you put in the sub-bin mode, when the market rises, let me say by 1.3, if that is what it is from your physical going down, and it sells, it will not return your profit. No, it will use your profit to pull the average price closer to the current price. When you put in sub-bin mode real-time settlement, when the robot buys the fifth call and the market rises by the distributed take profit allocation, the robot will sell the fifth call, return your profit, charge you fuel fee. Now, people ask me, this is my best mode. If I trade a coin and I want to move out, and the market drops, it will buy it. When the market rises, it sells it. It uses my profit to move the average price closer to my current price. But this strategy will not work for you if your first buying amount is very small. Kwanza 5, Kwanza 10. That's why I advise people who have this as their first buying amount to put in sub-bid mode real-time settlement so that they keep on getting their profit than trying to use it to pull the average price closer to the current price. If you have understood strategy modes, give me a 5 in the chat. Now I want to go to setting up the robot. Now I want to set up the robot. But before I set up the robot, allow me go back to this. What is AI margin call? I want to go back to this. Margin call limit and margin configuration. And then buying call back. Let's say my margin call limit is 5. On my margin configuration in this strategy, it's usually a 0.2 that we are learning today. It's a 0.3. It's a 0.5. It's a 1 and 1. The total here, this is 1. This is 2. The total drop here is 3%. Now, listen to me very clearly. The buy-in callback, what does this mean? When the market drops, this is margin call. When the market drops by 0.2 and it rises by the buy-in callback, which is already 0.1, it rises by 0.1. The robot will buy. If our multiple buying ratio, let me say it is a 2. It will buy 2 times our first buying amount. So the reason why we use the AI margin call here is that when the market drops by 0.2, instead of the robot following the buy-in callback, it does not follow it. Now AI comes in and says, okay, the market has dropped by 0.2. Yes, it has risen by 0.1. But is it true that this is the nearby support where the market is going to reverse? If the AI does not see that this is where the market is supposed to reverse, it will not buy. That's why, because we are buying very few margin calls, we are switching on the AI. We are using a very little drop, we are switching on the AI. Give me a yes in the chat if you have understood. Give me a yes in the chat if you have understood. If you are buying so many margin calls, you don't need the AI on. Why? Because the AI will delay your robot to buy. Yet you have so many margin calls. The reason of this strategy, why we switch on the AI, why we manage our capital, is because Just understand what buy-in callback is. You know me, I don't like these questions. Let me just explain the buy-in callback. If my buy-in callback, if the market drops by 0.2 and it rises and my buy-in callback is 0.01, it means I want my robot to buy very fast. If my buy-in callback is if the market drops by 0.2 and my buy-in callback is 0.1, it means that sometimes the market can drop by 0.2, but if it doesn't rise by 0.1, the robot will not buy. That's why sometimes a certain coin can drop 5%, 15% when my robot is not buying. Here, I'm doing risk management. Here, I want my robot to buy very fast. If I've also understood this, give me a 7 in the chat. If I've also understood this, buying callback. When I put here, it means I want my robot to buy very fast. When I put here, I'm doing risk management. If this market does not rise by 0.1, my robot will not buy. That's why a coin can drop 10% and your robot is not buying. If you are saying, I want my robot to buy, switch off AI, lower the buy-in callback, let your robot buy. Give me a 7 in the chat if you have understood. Me, I just want you to understand, I don't have strategy that this is for this capital, this is for this capital, this is for this capital, this is for this capital. Once you understand, you can always provide any setting depending on the capital you have. If you have understood that, give me also a 1 in the chat. Once you understand, you can do anything with your robot at any time. You don't need me. You don't need me. May I just give you reasons why? Then you understand. When you understand, you can do anything with your robot. Even if you don't want me, it is okay. I want you to understand the concept of the robot. Because when you understand the concept, life becomes very easy. People usually come to me, hi, give me settings for this. I don't have. And people who provide settings for the robot, how sure are they that what they are giving is real? I have a question. If someone tells you this is for 200, this is for 500, are they real? Let me know in the chat. If someone gives you this one is for 500, this one is for, are they real? Let me know in the chat. That's why I don't follow those copy traders. I don't follow them. This one is for 100. This one is for X. This one is 1,000. This one. Are they sure? Let me know. Are they sure? Someone comes to you. This one. This one. This one is for this one. This one is for this one. They're just taking you in a blind way. Are they sure? It means I can have $100 and express my $100 in different ways. Thank you. This one is for 2,000. This one. Are we together? Now, I want to conclude because I'm very late. I want to conclude. Why do we trade in one shot, non-cycle? Why do we trade in one shot, then non-cycle? Then I give the strategy and we end the meeting. Then I give the strategy and we end the meeting. Why do we trade in one shot, non-cycle? The difference between one shot and cycle. Now, this is my personal experience. In 2021, We were trading in this. And for sure, profits were good. Like they always become. When you are in cycle, profits are good. But this is the challenge. Look here, friends. The robot buys here, it sells here, it buys, it sells, 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 it buys. Now, when it buys here, it buys, buys, buys. It's like the market is not rising. So you find that the robot buys all your capital. That's why we said, no, go in for one shot. This cycle may work on coins that are ranging. You know, a ranging coin that is just moving like this, maybe. This is good for cycle. But coins that are pumping and dumping, they can dump you. That's why we say we go in for this. You enter coin, the market rises, it sells, you go off. Then you find another one, you enter, the market rises, you go off. Give me a yes in the chat. You can only do cycle if you can trade so many coins. Give me a one in the chat if I'm clear. Then me, I go to the strategy and we close. You can trade cycle only if you can trade so many coins. Why? Because with so many coins, you don't care. If one is down, another one is up. But you have $1,000. You are trading 10 coins. What if all of them misbehave? You stay there for the rest of your life. Now, let me share the strategy. And then we come to the end of my call today. If you have learned something, give me a yes in the chat. Because now I'm coming practical. If you have learned something, give me a yes in the chat. Because now I'm coming practical. Because now I'm coming practical. Okay. Now, so the strategies are many. So let me create one. And I'm going to look at a capital of $500. Okay. So my first question I'll ask myself, what is 15% of $500? Some answers in the chat. With this strategy, I'll go in with 15% of $500. What is 15% of $500? Some answers in the chat. This is the buy by poverty strategy, 75. So I'll put $75 here. Okay. With this strategy, the AI margin call must be on because we are buying few margin calls. And we usually go in with the 5 margin calls. Why 5? We are focusing on martingale. It buys, it buys, it buys, it buys 4 times. The 5th time is a bonus. And this bonus is basically to help us, if the market rises and sells it, is to pull the average price closer to the current price. And the reason why the AI is on is because we buy a few times. If you have understood, we only buy 5 times. That's why we need the AI on. If we are buying 100 margin calls, 50 margin calls, like the other people who use the start small, win big, the margin calls must be many. Give me a yes in the chat if you understand me. So this one, the AI must be on because we are buying a few margin calls. Now the take profit, if I'm going to use, like me who loves the RSI, I'll make it 1.5. The callback, I'll make it 0.1. The buy position, 0.1. Why? When my market will rise by 1.5, if it doesn't fall down by 0.1, my robot will give me more than 1.5. If you have understood these two, give me a 5 in the chat. Why I have put like this. So if for you, if you want your robot to sell very fast, you put a 0.01. You can even make it 0.001, but it will not allow. Okay. If you have understood, give me a 5. Now for me, I want that benefit. So that's why for me, I'm removing this and I put this. Am I clear? Now, buying callback. Let me go to margin configuration before I come to buying callback. Now here, I want my robot to buy the first call faster, 0.2. I want my robot to buy the second call faster, 0.3. I want my robot to buy the third call faster, 0.5. I want my robot to buy the fourth call faster, 1. And I want my robot to buy the fifth call faster, 1. Now, on the multiple buying ratio here, it depends on your capital. The reason why I go in, listen to me very clearly. The reason why I go in here with $75 is that sometimes I can enter the coin, instead of the coin dropping, it rises. So I will make 1.5 of $75. Give me a 2 in the chat if you have understood that. The reason why I'm using 15% of my capital, there is a chance I enter coin, and instead of the coin going up, going down, it just goes up. So although I have $500, I don't want to risk so much. Let this help me. I will make 1.5% of my $75. Is it clear? But if the market turns against me and it starts dropping, let my robot buy 5 times. But I have a question. If I only have $500, will I use this strategy? I need some answers in the chat to see if you have been following. If I only have $500, will I use this strategy? No. So, if for you your capital is the only capital you have, then you go in for the other strategy. Start small, winning. Start small, winning. Big. Give me a yes in the chat, because this one, you will open so many margin calls. Give me a yes in the chat. You will open so many margin calls. You will say, yes, what is 15% is 75. So I say 500 minus 75. If you use the start small, win big without super. Without super, you will say $500 divided by 5 or 10. So you'll open 100 margin calls. Sorry, 99. So you'll say $500 divided by 5. Or you will say $500 divided by 10. Am I clear? So choose where you belong. Me, I'm tired of people who keep on crying. Give me a 2 if I'm clear. Choose where you belong. Choose where you belong. If you belong this way, stay this side. If you belong this way, come this side. If you don't belong, stay where you belong. Stop crying in our chat. See, me. My heart is getting into my leg. Someone called me yesterday. If someone is busy and they want to trade coins, a minimum of 10. But me, I've never recommended Cycle to anyone. A minimum of 10. Trade coins like Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, major coins. Don't trade these small coins. Go to CoinMarketCap, the top 10. Trade the top 10. The top 10 coins on Cycle. Do not come to these Wanawinchi. These are the coins that BNX people, Pepe, Bonk. Hey, you will make money for some time, but when the dynamics change, they will sweat plasma. But let me tell you, don't even 1,000 sats. You can't. You can't trade that coin on a cycle. You can't. Which one is plasma? Go ask Mr. Google. Go and ask Mr. Google. What do they mean when they serve sweat plasma? Go and ask Mr. Google. If you want to trade on cycle, Bitcoin, Ethereum, $500 per coin. Let me tell you, you cannot be busy and at the same time you are broke. Give me one in the chat if my statement is clear. Give me one in the chat if my statement is clear. You cannot be busy at the same time when you are broke. Give me one in the chat if my statement is clear. You cannot be busy at the same time when you are broke. In the chat. It means that, let me tell you, and this statement I usually want to say it when I'm finishing. I'm going to talk about it when I'm finishing. Let me finish my settings. I will describe it very well. You cannot be busy at the same time when you are broke. I will talk at it when I'm finishing. Let me finish my setting. So if you have understood why I have put this here, give me a 2 in the chat. If you have understood. If you have understood, give me a 2 in the chat why I have put this here and you have understood and you okay now, you understand where I come from. Okay. So I will put a one shot. Now let's go to margin configuration. Now here, it means that this will be 75 times 2. This will be 75 times 4. This will be 75 times 8. This will be 75 times 16. This will be 75 times 32. Do I have this money? Because this is the best. Let me know. Do I have this money? I have $500 because this is the best. When it comes to Royal Q, this is the best. Do I have this money? How do I have $500? Do I have this money? The answer is no. So when I go back to my calculator and I say $500 minus 75, I remain with $425. That's why I will now edit my first buying amount. Now I can either take it back to 15. So we say 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus, that is 30. 30. So 30 times 15, that will be 450. I still don't have this money. It must be there. So let me say I lower this to 10. 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32. It is 62 times 10, my first buying amount. I don't have this money. Maybe I lower down to 5. Am I making sense to someone? So 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 times 5, it is 310. Do you see? That's where people now get past. Do you see? I can still leave my first buying amount, 5, and this I leave it like this. Give me a 1 in the chat if you have understood. Because this one plus this one plus this one plus this one plus this one, I don't want people to cram. When I add this together, when I add the 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32, 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32. Because it is 30 plus 32, I get 62. Yes, you can put the coins on one shot at any time. Do you see that this is 62? If I make my first buying amount 5, 62 times 5, that is 310. Am I making sense to someone? So it is that 62. I can say I want my first buying amount to be 6. So I say that is 372. If I add on my 75, I still have more money. What if I say 62 times 7? That is 437, 434. Plus my first buying amount, which was 75. That is 509. So I can even make my first buying amount 6.5. 6.5 times 6.5 times 62. That is 403. Plus 75, my first buying amount, 478. Then I say, oh, still have some more money. So let me make it 6.8 times 62. I get 421 plus 75. This is enough. About 6. Am I making sense to someone? Am I making sense to someone? So I can decide to turn this, let me say 6.8, to be my first buying amount. So whenever the robot will be dropping, it will be putting some reasonable money. So at first, when it will drop, it will be 6.8 times 2. So it will put in $13. Then it buys. Then my market drops again. It will be 6.8 times 4. It puts in $27. Then my market drops again. It is 6.8 times 8. Then it puts in $54. Are we following? Are we following? Then I make sure. This is now, I name it up here, $500 setting. $500 setting. First buy. First buy. $75. Then I save my strategy. Is it hard? But still I can keep it 75. You see, still I can keep it 75. You know that I can still keep my first buying amount 75. So if I want my robot, I can still keep my first buy in 75. Now people are just confused. $500 times, so minus 75, I remain 425. Now 75 divided by 425 is 0.176. So let me see, 75 times 0.176. It is not coming out. It is there is someone who knows how to do that. But still, what I'm trying to say, I can edit this. It has skipped out of my head. I can edit this. And I say, I want my robot. I have 425 divided by the remaining multiple, which are 5. So my robot can buy with $85 one time. For my robot, so I put a 1. This is what they call equal division. This is what they call equal division. So someone wants to buy one time. Another person wants to buy 5 times. Because, friends, whenever the robot buys with more money, the pool of the average price close at the current price is significant. So then I say 15 times 5. See, then I turn this back to 15. You know, so when it will be 15 times 5, which is 75, times 5 times, which is 375, plus the first buy, which is 450, close to that. The rest is simple. It is just simple mathematics. You can edit a coin anytime. If you have been able to learn something today, give me a yes in the chat. I will not sleep here. If you have been able to understand, give me a yes in the chat. Me, I will not sleep here. So I like to discuss strategy 6.8. I liked it, so I'm going to use it. As I close, I can enter this strategy. As I close, when someone is asking something very low. Yes, let me see what she's saying. If you have 50 margin calls and you choose sub-bin mode strategy to help move the average price grow closer to the current price, to enable the coin come out fast and avoid series of fuel charge, is my decision okay? It is okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But let me tell you, friends, if your first buying amount is very little, do you think whenever your robot buys with $5, we need to pull the average price significantly closer to the current price? Some answers in the chat. If your first buying amount is very little, some answers in the chat. Do you think? No. So when you open up so many margin calls and your first buy is very little, you should put in sub-bin mode real-time settlement, because you are just catching your leg for nothing. Now, I'm finishing. I can enter this strategy in all the coins that I'm trading. Are we following? How do you do that? I'll tap on setting. I'll tap on setting. Are we following? Give me a yes in the chat if you are following. Give me a yes in the chat if you are following, because now we are moving to the end. I've taken too much time. So I'll tap here. Then I tap on the funnel. Then I tick all the coins. Then I select all. Now the coins that I'm trading, whose strategy I don't want to change, I'll just untick them. So I untick this one and this one. The rest will remain. You see? There is no power here, friends. The rest will remain. So I need to be very fast. So I'll tap on batch setting. Then I tap on trade setting. Then I tap on manually create. Then I tap on choose a strategy setting. Then I tap on my strategy. When you tap on your strategy, it will refuse to change. So you need to change it back to 6.8. Let me go back for the last time. I want to put the strategy in all the coins. So when they send me the signal, I don't waste time. When I find a coin to trade, I don't waste time. Are we together? I come on strategy. I tap on this setting icon. If you are not seeing the setting icon, I'm talking about the tractor, the tire of a tractor. Can we all see the tractor tire? Can you all see the tractor tire? The tire tractor here. Can you all see the tire tractor? This tire is for a tractor. All the tractors have now changed. That one. So I tap on it. Then I tap on all coins. Then I tap on the funnel here. There is a funnel here. Then I tap on the funnel. The reason why I want to tap on the funnel, I am looking for USDT. So for you, if you are on USDC, do that. I want the Martingale bot, not the greedy bot. The Martingale is better. I don't want coins that are running, not those that have stopped. I want all of them. All of them. Then I tap sure. They will all appear. Then I will tick all. Now those ones that I'm already trading, I don't want them to suffer. So they will be on top. So I will untick them. Then I remain with the coins that I'm not trading. Give me a 2 if that is clear. I'll remain with the coins that I'm not trading. Give me a 2 in the chat if I'm clear. Then, having remained with the ones that I'm not trading, give me a 2 if I'm clear. I just want to see if people are following. Why should I pray? Should I pray? Now there is someone who is here. I know him. He's the one who brought me the business. See, I know him. I have him in my chatting. You see, he's the one who, he's my mentor. He even sent me the link. I usually see his car bypassing me here in Masaka. You see, I will stop him. You see, it's my upline. After here, I'm going to look for people. Me, I've finished my task. I did not come in the business to put food in the table and even put it in your mouth. I'm not that kind of a leader. You will send me messages and I'll switch X on you. Then I come later and I tell you, how are you? Send me, I reply. You see, I know him. You see, I know him. Focus. Why do you want me to teach you something 10 times? Focus. Nobody is going to come and redeem you from the poverty. I'm not Jesus. Ask me from here. Me, I'm not Jesus. I'm not Jesus. So when I ask and I see 222 and you don't ask me, I move on. I know him. He's in our group. Yes, the other day I applied, added him to the group. I'll be there and I'll be silent. I'll be like, I don't exist. Coach, make that prayer, please. And someone is in my chat that I pray. Okay, I go back the last time. Are we together? I go back the last time. Okay? You have set your strategy, whether it is start small, whether it's bye-bye poverty, any that you like. You have set your strategy. Now we want to enter the strategy in all coins. When you see a good coin, you just tap start. You don't waste time. Next time, let me continue. This coin is coming back up. Come. And we see. Okay. So I'll tap on the setting icon. I tap on the funnel. All coins, sure. Tick all. Then I untick those that I'm already trading. Then I tap on batch setting. Then I tap on trade setting. I'll not go into the smart create. I'll just go to manually create because I want the robot to follow my own settings. Then I tap on choose a strategy setting. I tap on my strategy. Then I change the strategy mode. Are we following? Are we following? Then I change the strategy mode. According to this strategy, I want sub-bin mode. I change my first buying amount to 6.8. Now, if in this strategy, I'm interested in using RSI, those of you have attended those trainings of RSI, and I'm gonna, throughout this week, I'm focusing on RSI and MACD. Throughout this week on all my trainings, I'll repeat them until you understand them. So I will choose. If I want RSI, yes, I like mine of greater than 30, on RSI of 6 and RSI of 24. I like this one, but you can try any. Then I save. Sure. All the coins get the strategy. Now it is inside there. It is rolling. I hope we have been able to learn something. I hope we have been able to learn something. Now it is rolling. It's putting the strategy in all coins. So when they send me Hey, I'm going to show you how you remove and put another one. I'm going to show you. Let it roll. Ah. Even if you see that coward, the strategy is in. So now, I want to trade. I want to trade. I like this coin called QKC. I don't know why, but I like the coin. So I'll come here on RSI. Over solo D. People have. Hey, you see now, this RSI is at 71. Will I buy? Those who attended my morning training, this RSI is at 71. Will I buy? I'll just run away. I'll just run away. Yeah, let it go. I ran away. Let me go to these ones. Now, the first coin here is CPV. It's going to be delisted. Will I trade? CPV is going to be delisted. Will I trade CPV because it's the most negative here? Will I trade? I save my life. So I will start from this SFP. Coin piece. This one usually pumps. So I'll go for this one. Then I look at RSI. Okay. This one, the RSI is at 60. Very good, but the risk is very many. Very good, but the risk is very many. I don't like die. Hey, ref is here. Will I trade ref? Will I trade ref? Ref is here. Will I trade? Will I trade the ref? It's going to be delisted. Will I trade ref? Hey, let me go for SWI. Then I come here for SWI. RSI. Technical. Now the RSI here is at 43. This one I will create if I want. So I tap on create, martingale, create, next. Now you see, now the strategy is in. You see the strategy is in. My AI must be on, my margin call must be on, my strategy and submit. So I come here on this trade setting. If I don't want to use the RSI, I will just tap here on condition and I change. Am I clear? And I change the condition to trigger price. And I put in a preset price if it has been given. You see? I put in a preset price if it has been given. If I don't want this strategy and I want to use another one, I will just tap on choose a strategy setting. Choose a strategy setting. And I pick from these many that I have. You see? This one is the super start small, win big. Super start small, win big. I have all of them. So if I feel I want this one, super start small, win big. Are we there? So I have showed you everything. Have we been able to understand and learn something today? I've taken 2 hours here. Too much time. Too much time. But I hope we have been able to learn something. Thank you so much, friends, for joining. I don't have electricity here. I think it's high time I close. Now I drive my car and I go where? I don't know. I go, today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Yeah. So now, yeah, I need to drive. I need to burn fuel. The car has a lot of fuel. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to just drive around the city. I play music. No, I no longer now eat fish. I don't like the fish. Either pressure would tell me to go for a gym, so I don't know where to go. Someone is saying, but have you been making money? You think I was speaking for free? It is only teachers that were speaking for salary. Someone is saying, but were you making money? Are you sure I was just here wasting time? We're joking, my brother. Try it somewhere else. I've spoken for $100. People are busy making money. You thought it was free saliva. But I withdrew. You saw how much my brother have made? Over $140 since the day started. Yesterday, 256. The other day, 285. The other day, 300. 266, 305, 310. But we cannot carry. We are now 3 days. We need only this one. This is past history. This is this new week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. How much? So for you those who say it is very bad to teach people, becoming a teacher is very bad. Teachers for the 21st century are different. So you die with the knowledge here and stay with it and we shall bury you times 3. My fellow Ugandans, in 3 days I've made 2.5. So let's see how the week moves. Okay, so I'm being informed that half of the tickets of the boot camp have been bought. So if you have not yet bought your boot camp, we are remaining with only 50 slots to go. 50 slots to go on the boot camp. It's happening on the 28th and on the 29th this month with only $85, whether you were V2 or not. So do not miss out on this opportunity. Very, very soon we are closing up the gates. Even if you have your money, you will not need to go with us. Thank you so much for attending today's call. Thank you for understanding your robot. And I wish you a fantastic cannibalistic day. No music because no power. Have a nice day and bye everyone.